This is our final set of notes for the power focus area, proportionality, and percents. This is going to be Objective 4. Okay, Objective 4 is titled Solving Real-World Problems Involving Percents. So we're going to turn that into a question and just say, how can I solve real-world problems involving percentages? Okay, so this is going to be an extension from Objective 2, which was just finding percent of a number. We were doing part and whole and is and of, and finding the missing pieces. Today we're going to take that a step farther. We're going to do the same type of thing, but we're going to apply it to things that we do throughout our everyday lives, such as going shopping, going out to eat, stuff like that. So the first example we're going to do is going to be about discounts. So we are going to be looking at buying a tennis racket that's going to cost $110.50, and it's going to be on sale for 20% off. Okay? As you're looking at that, this percentage right here should be an instant kind of light bulb going off that we are going to use a proportion to solve this problem. Okay, 100 still goes in the bottom just like it has been for the last 2 days. We were given the percent, it's 20, so that's going to go on top of 100. Okay, and then we've got to decide, this is still part over whole, so we need to figure out where that 110.50 is going to go. It is the total cost of our tennis racket, so it's going to go in the bottom of our proportion. Okay, and then X will go on top. From here, it's business as usual. We're going to cross multiply 100 times X. And then we've got to multiply 110.50 times 20. So the first row is pretty easy. 0 times anything is always going to be 0. Next row, 0 times 2 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. We put it all together. And something you should have already learned, okay, we multiplied, and one of our original numbers had 2 places behind the decimal. So that means in our final answer, our decimal starts back here, and we're going to move it up 2 places to the left. So we're going to have 100x is equal to 2,210. Okay, and then we want to get x by itself, so we're going to divide by 100. That will be x. Okay, and I'm going to show you a shortcut so that we don't have to do long division anytime you're dividing by 100. And it only works for 100. Okay, your decimal starts at the end of your number. Okay, and 100 has 2 zeros, so we're going to take that decimal and move it to the left 2 times. So we're going to say x is 22.10, or in our case, because we're talking about money, it's $22.10. Okay? It's very important here at this step to realize $22.10 is not the new price of our tennis racket. Okay? This $22.10 represents the amount of our discount. Okay? So that's only step 1. Okay? Step 2, we've got to see, okay, I know my tennis racket is $110.50. I now know that I'm going to get a $22.10 discount. So to find the price that we're actually going to have to pay, you take our starting amount, $110.50, and we're going to subtract the amount of the discount. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. Decimal comes straight down. We cannot take 2 from 0, so we borrow. 10 minus 2 is 8. Again, we cannot take 2 from 0, so we borrow. 10 minus 2 is 8. So after our 20% discount, we are going to spend $88.40. One thing that you may want to remind yourself is that the word discount, or in this case, sale, means to subtract. So step 1, we had to figure out how much our discount was going to be. Then step 2, we had to subtract it to get our total cost. Okay? Our next example that we're going to do is sales tax. Okay? So anytime you go shopping anywhere, you should always take a little bit of extra money than what you think you're going to have to spend because of sales tax that's going to get added at the time of your purchase. So let's say we are buying a new coffee maker that costs $50, and our sales tax is going to be 8%. Again, this percent sign should be an indicator to you that we are going to be setting up a proportion. Okay, percent goes on top of 100. Again, 50 is the total cost for our coffee maker, so it's going to go on bottom. X will go on top. Now we cross multiply 100 times X, 50 times 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. So that's going to be 400. To get X by itself, we're going to divide by 100. And this is nice because we can just take a 0 out, take a 0 out, take a 0 out, take a 0 out, and we're left with 4 divided by 1, which is just 4. And in our case, it's going to be $4. And this represents the amount of our sales tax. Okay? Obviously, my coffee pot is not going to go from $50 to $4. Okay? Now, to finish it off, we want to know how much we're going to spend for our coffee pot with tax. So we take our coffee pot, $50, we add our sales tax, so we're going to spend a total of $54. And again, you want to make a note for yourself down here. Okay, sales tax means to add. It always gets added to your total. Okay, we're going to do one more example. We've done discount, we've done sales tax. Now we have to talk about tips. Usually when you go out to eat at a restaurant, your waiter will bring you your bill for everything, your total for what you ate, what you drank, what your dessert was, all of that. And then usually there's a space at the bottom of the receipt to leave a tip for your waiter for doing a good job waiting on you. Okay, so let's say you went out to eat at a restaurant and your bill is $12. Okay, and you want to leave your server, a 15% tip. Okay, so again, percent means we're going to be using a proportion. 100 goes in the bottom every time. Percent goes over 100, so that's 15. $12 is the total that I spent on my meal. We want to find the part that we want to tip our waiter. So we cross multiply 100 times x, 15 times 12, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 1 is 1, plus 1 is 3. Next row, 1 times 5, 1 times 1, put it together, we have 180. Okay, to get x by itself, we're going to divide by 100, and we can use our little trick from earlier, because again, we're dividing by 100, so my decimal starts back here. 100 has 2 zeros, so that means I get to go 2 spaces to the left. So we're going to say 1.80, and in our case, that's $1.80, represents the tip that we're going to leave our waiter. Okay, and from there, to figure out how much we have to spend altogether, I spent $12 on my food, and then I'm going to leave an extra $1.80 for my waiter. So altogether, I've spent $13.80. And again, you may want to make the note down here. Tip means to add. Okay, so discount gets subtracted, sales tax and tip get added. The biggest thing to note about these questions is they usually always involve 2 steps. Step 1, finding the amount of the discount or the tax or the tip. And then step 2, if it wants to know the total, you then either have to add or subtract, depending on which one it's asking for. So just make sure you read your questions carefully. If it only wanted the tip, we would have been done at step 1, but since I wanted a total, we had to go and add. Okay?